17 executive orders signed by Joe Biden yesterday, including getting the United States back into the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Control, and also, Accord, I should say, and also rescinding the travel ban, which was mostly aimed at Muslim countries. And that means immigration laws and changes may be ahead as well. And with us right now is immigration attorney Farhad Sethna, who's given us some insight and education throughout the years. And Farhad, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning. And I guess right away, let's talk about the travel ban changes and how that changes immigration for our country.
Well, first of all, Ray, thanks for having me on the show. And yes, there's some momentous changes in the offing for immigration. Again, keep in mind, a lot of stuff can be done by executive order, and we saw the extent to which Trump pushed executive orders. However, the larger systemic changes have to come from a bill that's already been introduced into Congress by President Biden just yesterday, and there's a lot on that bill as well regarding immigration. With regard to the travel ban, we know this was a thinly veiled attempt at appeasing President Trump's base, if you will, that had a distinctly anti-Muslim fervor. And with the rescission of this travel ban, I'm happy to say that we don't treat people from countries that are primarily Muslim in any way different than we would treat people from other countries where other religions are predominant. So it once again asserts the rule of law and the rule of equality that should prevail in American politics and American foreign policy.
Farhad, let me ask you this. You mentioned that bill from Joe Biden. It's been sent to Congress. I'm sure you know some of the items that are included in that bill that may signal some change coming. Can you educate us?
Absolutely, Ray. The bill, of course, as you can imagine, is a huge, extensive document which touches upon almost every area of immigration law: family-based immigration, employment-based immigration, asylum law, relief from deportation. All of those issues are in the bill. It's a huge package, and of course, the devil is in the details. Now, keep in mind, this is a bill that's been introduced. It has not been passed. It has to pass the House with its own changes. It'll go to the Senate, which will make more changes. It has to be reconciled and then presented to the president for signature. So this is far from becoming law. Some of the important changes are usage of unused visas, increase in quotas for countries, reduction of the immense waiting times that are currently in place, both for family-based and for employment-based immigration. It's stretching to decades in some cases, Ray. It's incredible to deny people the right to be united with their families for 10, 15, 20 years at a time. It's just incredible. Changes in the asylum law and the granting of visas or immigrant visas to asylees. There is also, in a nod to Central American refugees, where many of our refugee seekers come from, that there will be essentially centers in those countries to assess refugee claims at the source rather than have people making hazardous travel to the USA and then being stopped at the U.S. border or placing a strain on our own national resources. So some pretty significant common sense things as well in the bill, if you would.
With us is the immigration attorney Farhad Sethna with us at WACAR, and you've stressed a couple of times, Farhad, remember that this is only a bill. What's the likelihood of this bill and these reforms actually enacting into law?
Well, as you know, Ray, very well, a bill can be very heavily loaded and for a particular reason. Of course, you're going to want to put as much as possible into the bill, knowing that some of that is going to be stripped away. So I would be very happy to see, 50% or 75% of this bill making it into the law. The devil, of course, is in the details. If you have a relief available or some avenue, let's say, pathway for citizenship for people who are here undocumented or people who are here on temporary protected status, the devil is in the details as to how rigorous the requirements are going to be for those individuals to step out of the shadows and seek and apply for both temporary status in the USA and then apply for green cards in the future. And I must stress, this bill is not an amnesty. A lot of people are going to be latching on to this bill and saying, oh, look, Biden's a Democrat, he's offering amnesty. Absolutely not. This is a bill with significant requirements and safeguards for people, so only those who follow the law, pay their taxes, have a clean record, and pass various tests, exams, and background checks can obtain legal status, thereafter permanent residency, and after that citizenship. It is not instant citizenship, Ray. It is not, absolutely not amnesty. And for anyone who says it's amnesty, they are lying.
You know,
That's
the one thing
bottom
that
line.
I've really liked about your insight through the years, Farhad, is you have stressed that. Go by the rules that are given, pay your taxes, do it the right way. And as you've said on this country, the immigration process will work. And unless Americans are in the middle of a lot of those immigration stories, they might not understand the difficulties in immigration in the last 3 or 4 years and the changes and really some of the agonizing stories, Farhad, that you've been front and center with.
Absolutely, Ray. We've had a rather draconian regime in the last 4 years, which has unfortunately not made America great again. We need more visas when it comes to skilled foreign workers. We need more visas when it comes to unskilled foreign workers. There are incredible jobs in our nation, Ray, which are going a-begging because companies cannot find qualified workers. There are crops in the fields which are going unharvested because we cannot find enough agricultural workers. The process has become so difficult, so slow, so bureaucratic that it's taking 6 months to get a temporary work visa. By the time you get the work visa, the opportunity or the season has passed by. It's crazy, Ray. It shouldn't be like this. How can we make the greatest economy on the earth work if we don't have enough skilled workers? And if anything at all, President Trump should have realized this because he himself was in charge of businesses which used a lot of unskilled labor. His hotels, his golf courses, his hospitality venues, everything used unskilled labor. And yet the crush of time for getting those visas is inordinately impossible from an economic standpoint.